My name is Nabila Laban, and this is my JavaScript Week 7 assignment. I started off with the subtract first last, with this narrow function that takes an array and uses the link -1 uh, element and subtracts it from the 0th element. And I subtracted the first and last ages. And then I use the average function in an arrow function to take an array. It used a for in loop to get the total. And then I averaged the ages. Again, I push over here. I pushed an age and then I subtracted the ages again. And then I took an array of names and I iterated over each array element, and I took the string length and put it into a temporary array called count array, and then I averaged the count array using that averager function from before. And then I concatenated names. I iterated in a for loop over each element, and I concatenated a space between each of the names, and I trimmed it, and I returned a string of names. And an array, the last element of array is array.length -1, and the first element is array sub 0. And I did I use the getLength arrow function to get the array of name lengths. I iterated over each element, and I push the string length onto a temporary length array for each element, and I returned an array of lengths. And I took the sum of lengths. I took that array, and I summed over each element and returned the sum. I took in words, a word and a number. I used the standard for loop to iterate over the result and concatenate each word in number of times. I had this arrow function AB to concatenate a first and a last name with a space in between. I have another arrow function to take the sum greater than 100. It takes an array, and for each element in the array, it sums each element of the array and returns a boolean of greater than 100. I have this arrow function to average of an array. It takes an array parameter, and I use the for in loop to get the total and return the total, and I found total divided by the number of elements, which is the array.length. I have this is average greater. I pass in two arrays, and I pass the average of array that I just talked about, and I pass each array and I use it in an expression. And took the average of array for array 2. And I have this arrow function, will buy drink. It takes this hot outside a boolean and money in pocket a number, and it compares with an and function. It's hot outside and money in pocket is greater than 1050 and returns the boolean result. I created my own function, which is a checkout that calculates the total checkout cost, including tax rate. I pass the cost of goods in an array and the tax rate, and I return the result. And that is my function, my program.